everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a minute since my last upload. I went AWOL for a few months because filming YouTube videos without a proper workspace has been a challenge. But today I decided to come out with a new YouTube video for an acrylic painting commission that I'm doing for a customer, and I thought that I would let you watch the progress from the pencil sketch all the way to the finished painting. So you can see here that I started the pencil sketch. Everything is a time lapse because doing it in real time would have meant the video was going to be at least 2 hours long, and nobody wants that. So yeah, I started off with a pencil sketch, shaping the eyebrows and drawing the face shape and just hashing out a little bit of the details so that I know where exactly to put my paint when I'm done. One thing that my pencil sketches always remind me of is when I have to shape the eyebrows and do the eyelashes and everything like that. It reminds me of a friend who always talks about how I should be able to do my own makeup properly because of the way that I draw. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not as easy as it seems. Drawing on eyeliner is one of the biggest challenges of my life, and I cannot understand it. I don't know how people do it. I don't get it. So somebody please teach me. Anyway, so the first part of this video is just me doing a quick pencil sketch, hashing out all the details, and then adding the paint later. So this is being done on a canvas that is 41 by 41 centimeter, and yeah, the pencil is a mechanical pencil and it's easily erasable, so it's not too much of a big deal erasing it on there. And I do erase a lot because I make a lot of mistakes, but that's okay, that's how we learn. So the idea for this painting is just a portrait of an African black woman with an elaborate head wrap, and I will be using acrylic paints from Dala. For the skin tone, I will be using burnt sienna, yellow ochre, and burnt umber for the skin tone. I will be making her dark skinned, and then adding a little bit of white and black to either for the lighter parts of the skin tone versus the darker parts of the skin tone. And I'll be using several different brushes and a little bit of water just to rinse out my brushes so that I don't mix my paints too much. And this is my palette. So in order to mix the skin tones, as I mentioned earlier, I'll be mixing in burnt umber with the yellow ochre there to create a very dark chocolatey skin tone. And then when I need the skin tone to be darker in the shadowed areas of her faces, I will add black, and in the areas that I want it to be where the light hits her and where she's a little bit lighter, I will add the yellow ochre a little bit more, and sometimes add a little bit more white to highlight the high parts or the highlighted areas of her face. Yeah, it sounds like a makeup tutorial, but it's not, and sometimes I try to think of it in that way when I try to do my own makeup. Like, yeah, you should highlight and contour in these places, but it's not the same. I am not understanding it. And yeah, so this is just a time lapse of that. You can see how this side of her face is much darker than some areas that I'm painting right now. That's because no one has the exact same color all over their face. Light plays a big role in the color in our faces in every photo, and also, especially with Black people, we also have different shades of skin tone on our face in general, so that is also represented here, I hope. So guys, please don't hesitate to comment on this video and let me know what you think of the quality of the video, of the painting itself, of my technique. If there are any artists watching, your criticisms and help would be highly appreciated. And please like my video if you like what you see, and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, please, your interaction is highly valued. And I would like to apologize for my arm constantly coming into the frame. The camera was behind me over my shoulder, and I hadn't considered that when I was painting. So yeah, we live and we learn. I will have to do this a different way for the next video, and I hope I'll be posting a few more videos more consistently, because I need to grow this channel if I want to grow my art life or art business. Yeah, this is so freeing, I guess, to be able to do art like this, and I can only hope that I can do this full time eventually, or at least make this a much bigger part of my life than it is right now, because this is work that can only be done most of the time on the weekends because I have a full-time job, and I would love to be able to go into my artwork full-time and do this for a living. Sometimes I think of it like, why didn't I start this sooner? Why didn't I discover my love for art sooner than I did? Because I only discovered that I could do this and like this in 2014. All throughout high school and all these times, I'd never even considered it as a possibility, because I didn't even try to draw. Every time I saw my older brother drawing, and he is a fantastic artist, like he would do the most amazing artworks when we were kids. I never thought I should try it. I don't know why, but maybe if I had started then, I would be much further along. But it is what it is. Yeah, speaking of my brother, I remember the first time my brother showed me any artwork was after Harry Potter first came out, the Philosopher's Stone. I was probably, I think I was around 11 or younger, and we were completely obsessed with Harry Potter, and we couldn't afford to buy the merch, like the t-shirts and things like that. So my brother drew them for us on t-shirts. He made me a Harry Potter shirt because he was just that good, and he was completely obsessed with Spider-Man, and he drew Spider-Man on everything. And sometimes he would have us take our t-shirts and he would make artworks on them with bleach, which was like mind-blowing for me as a child. So yeah, and then my little brother started to really get into art and drawing when he was in high school, and I was in high school as well. Even then, I just thought, what are the odds? Two very talented siblings. But even then, it never occurred to me to try. I only started to really get into it in my second year of university, and I just started doodling on my notebooks and things like that. And I just thought, hey, maybe I should try this. And now we're here with the YouTube channel and painting for customers. It's actually amazing when you think about it. But yeah, anyway, I'm babbling too much. I have so far painted most of her face. You can see where her face skin tones are highlighted, and you can see where the light hits her face, and I hope that's visible here. I'm really liking the shape of her nose because I struggle a lot with noses. I had to do a whole practice session drawing noses because they are not very easy face parts to draw. So yeah, my favorite facial parts to draw are always the eyes. Eyes are fantastic. They're so beautiful, and you can make them look however you want, and they have nice, beautiful colors, and you can have the light reflecting in them in certain ways to convey certain emotions. Like, eyes are amazing. They are. Yeah, they're amazing. They're my favorite thing to draw. Noses, on the other hand, oof, it's tough. So, as I said earlier that I usually do my paintings on the weekends, I have to ask you guys, what do you guys like to do on the weekends? Apart from doing artworks, which is what I usually do most of the time, I also love to watch sitcoms. That's my unwinding technique, I guess, is to sit and just watch episode after episode of sitcoms. During this painting, actually, I was watching The King of Queens. It's a 90s sitcom that's centered around this New York couple, Doug and Carrie. I think it's played by Kevin James and Leah Remini. And honestly, that is one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. 90s and early 2000s sitcoms are elite, in my opinion, above all of the sitcoms that we have right now. And maybe it's because that's just the time that I grew up in, so it makes sense. But King of Queens, for example, it just never stops being funny. It never gets old. And the fact that when I was a kid, my brothers used to watch King of Queens, and because I was a child and maybe English wasn't English is not my first language, so at the time I didn't really understand it so well. I didn't understand sarcasm and the humor like that, so I didn't think it was funny. I actually disliked them a lot. But then when I started rewatching them now when I'm an adult, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are elite, hilarious. I love the couple dynamic between Doug and Carrie. Just how, I don't think it's easy, it's just Doug is the fun-loving but also weirdly socially awkward guy versus Carrie, who just doesn't like people, but in her head she thinks she does, and she tries really hard to get all these people and new friends and things to integrate into their lives, but she doesn't really like that. It's just refreshing. I think it's fantastic, and you should definitely check it out. There are some episodes that maybe in looking at the current political climate, it may not have aged very well, but it's still a very good show. Another 90s, early 2000s sitcom that I think is amazing is Everybody Loves Raymond. Fantastic. And the best thing about it was when there was a crossover between Everybody Loves Raymond and The King of Queens. I lived. It was fantastic, amazing. The humor is fantastic. I don't know if it's because it just shows the marriage life of this suburban family where the mother-in-law honestly is vindictive and she sucks, and you have this wife that's just great, but she's also very neurotic, and a husband who's like checked out, and he sucks, but it works. So you should definitely check out Everybody Loves Raymond. And then the next sitcom that is like amazing is Becca. If you love sarcasm and you love just to hear somebody constantly rant about everything, you have to watch Becca. So Becca is centered around Dr. Becca, who has a medical practice in New York City, and he's just a very angry man, and he has problems with everything. But sometimes when you hear his rants, he makes a lot of sense. And it's also centered around him and his friends and his colleagues or his employees, which is the Margaret. Margaret is fantastic, one of my favorite characters on there, because she is so sarcastic and she throws shade like nobody else. And then there's Linda, who is just this ditzy girl who's just, I don't know what she's doing. Nobody knows what she's doing, and she's clearly incompetent at her work, but she brings fun and childlikeness to the environment. And then you have there's a diner in that story where you have the owner of the diner, which is Reggie, who is just kind of weird and desperate for love, and it's weird. And you have people like Bob, who's just this really creepy dude that they just can't get rid of, and he says the weirdest things. But even in that show, some of the things that they say then don't age well sometimes, but it's a very funny show and I really, really love it. The next sitcom, obviously one of my favorite sitcoms of all time, has always been Friends, and I know that it's getting a lot of heat right now for not being very diverse and all of that, but I don't care. It's a great show. I love Friends. Friends is funny because it just is. I understand the lack of diversity is a bit of an issue, but it's fine, whatever. I don't care. I think Friends is one of the funniest shows out there. My favorite characters being Chandler and Monica, because sarcasm is elite humor. I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm rambling about sitcoms that I think people should watch. I've started working on the Headwrap here. I've decided to go for an orange yellow sunsetty kind of look, because that's one of the briefs that I got from my customer, so that's what I'm going for here. So I'm just using orange, red and yellow and a little bit of black and the burnt sienna to create the darker shades of orange, especially where the shadows are of the Duke. Yeah. Another sitcom that I would recommend is definitely Girlfriends. I think this is early 2000s, it's not 90s. And it's centered around these friends, Joan, Lynn, Maya, and Tony. They are these, I guess, late 20s women that are living in Los Angeles, I think. I don't know which city they live in, but the whole show is just centered around their friendships and their romantic relationships and them just navigating through their lives as young women, through their careers and things like that. it's a very cool show, and when I was a kid watching that, I loved it. I loved seeing them, and I used to think, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. I want to be and look exactly like them. Yeah, I loved it. So when I saw that it was coming back and they put it on Netflix, I was ecstatic because I thought, oh my gosh, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna watch this, and I really still enjoyed it now. But now, I don't know if there's anyone who watches Girlfriends now and does not get heated, because one of the first things that come to your mind after watching it is you wonder to yourself, why are these people friends with each other? Because they are honestly awful to each other. They treat each other like trash. If I had friends that treated me the way that these 4 girls treat each other, oh my gosh, no. You have Lynn, who does not have a job. She never has a job. She sponges off of her friends constantly, and she just does it, and she kind of makes them feel bad when they call her out for it, which is madness, because she doesn't even try. She avoids getting a job because by staying in college and getting degree after degree. She has like 2 doctorates or whatever. Like, why? What is the reason for that? I could never understand it. I think she's probably my least favorite person in that group, because she is highly selfish and she does not care about anybody but herself, even though she pretends to be this highly spiritual person who, no, it's BS. I don't buy it. And then you have Joan. At first, I used to think Joan was the hero of the story, and I think I don't know if that's what she was supposed to be, but oh my gosh, she is so annoying. Her desperation for love and marriage, it was sad. I do see how, like, I understand her wanting to be married and wanting that romantic relationship and wanting, roses and petals and moonshine and whatever. I get it. She's a romantic and it's cute. And not every girl wants that, but every girl deserves to have that, I guess. But she went on a whole thing where she was desperate to a point where she was so jealous when her best friend got married that she couldn't even be happy for her, and she couldn't even be there for her. And I thought, oh my gosh, Joan, this is honestly horrible for you. But then at the same time, Joan's friends treat her like trash. They're constantly mocking her. They don't support her business. They don't support anything she does. I am surprised that she hadn't had a mental breakdown because of their emotional abuse towards her. And then there's Tony. She is the most selfish person ever. She's self-centered, and oh my gosh, I can't with her. Everything is about her and how she looks, and she cannot be there for somebody else, but she wants everybody else to be there for her. I couldn't. And then you have Maya, who cheated on her husband, and she's also just mean. Yeah. And she takes advantage of whoever she works for because they're friends. Yeah. But anyway, even with all of these criticisms of these women's characters, the show is still great. I loved it, and I'm glad to have had the opportunity to watch it again. So anyway, the progress of the Duke is coming along really, really great. As you can see, I've added some lighter yellow shades on the side and some white to show where the light hits the Duke, and you can see some of the darker shadows of her head wrap. So yeah, I hope this really turns out good so far. The side the part on the right, the little fold of the duke on the right is my favorite part, to be honest, because it just looks so nice. And I hope that you guys can get like the sunset, like African sunset safari kind of vibe from this head wrap, because that's what I was going for, and I hope that it pulls through. So yeah, so you guys could recommend to me any, if you watch other sitcoms and comedy shows that you think would be great to watch. Let me know and I will check them out. What other sitcoms have I watched lately? Oh, one of my other favorite ones is obviously Blackish, but I haven't watched Blackish recently, like season 6. I haven't seen it. I don't know. Yeah, I just kind of lost interest in Blackish after season 5. It started to go from being funny to being extremely serious, and I understand the social commentary that Blackish makes, and it's fantastic. That part is great, but some of it, I don't know if it just stopped being funny or I just stopped being able to relate. I don't know. But let me know how Blackish season 6 is going. Maybe I'll find it and watch it. Oh, also, I think the other reason why Blackish stopped interesting me was the funniest people in the show for me, apart from Bo and Dre, is the kids, Diane and Junior and the other kid. Not Zoe. We don't talk about Zoe. Zoe, I don't know why she's there. Her entire character is pointless in Blackish. I'm sorry. But yeah. So now that they're older, it's not as funny anymore. Like, I don't know if this is just me, but it's not. And yeah, sitcoms are my favorite type of TV show. They're funny and you get to learn a lot from them. Next time maybe I'll tell you guys about other shows that I like that are not sitcoms but more on the crime investigation side. Or maybe I should just talk about that right now. No, I'm going to not talk about that right now, and I'm going to do a commentary on the painting, which we are here for. I'm doing the lips right now. A nice little pinkish lip, more of a nude tone was what I was going for. And yeah, I'm using a little bit of red, a little bit of sienna, the burnt sienna there, and just blending it with a little bit of white to get some light. So, as you can see, right now I'm working on the background of the painting and I'm done with the portrait. What do you guys think? I absolutely love her shoulder and neck area. The darkness of her skin tone there is just, I love it. I also love the duke and how it's looking. I think the portrait came out great. Let me know what you guys think of her skin tone and the painting of the portrait itself. For the background, I went with a blue background so that it could help to kind of make her duke pop a little bit more. So I decided to use blue and a little bit of purple and just use like paints as if she's standing in front of a door. That is what I was going for here. And yeah, I hope you guys like it. I will show you the finished product in a minute or so, but this is the painting that took me 2 days to do. So, well, not 2 full days, but I did it over 2 days. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys, and if you have any comments on anything we've spoken about, anything I've done in this video, let me know. Let me know if you have any TV show or TV sitcom recommendations. I would love recommendations because I am currently running out of sitcoms to watch. So let me know. And this is the finished painting. If you've watched all the way to the end of this video, you are amazing. I love you. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think. Please excuse the noise. Someone is running a generator outside, or a car or something. I don't know. I'm very sorry for that. Thank you so much for joining me for painting. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know. Link, comment, like, comment, subscribe, everything. Thank you so much. Bye.